Think about it. Every single day, you, me, billions of us connect to Wi-Fi. We type in a password and poof, a few seconds later, we're online. But have you ever actually stopped to think about what's happening in those few seconds? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that invisible, high-speed negotiation that keeps your password safe.
Right? It seems like such a simple question, but the answer is, well, it's pretty wild. Your password has to get from your phone to your router, but you can't just broadcast it for anyone to hear. So how in the world does your router know you've typed the right password if your device never actually sends it?
Okay, let's just picture this for a second. A Wi-Fi signal isn't some clean, private wire. It's a radio wave flying through the air in what's called unlicensed spectrum. A good way to think of it is like a public park for radio signals. It's chaotic, it's crowded, and literally anyone can listen in. It's a real Wild West environment out there. Okay, so that brings us to the core challenge, right? The big Wi-Fi password problem. How do you prove you know a secret without, actually revealing the secret itself? Obviously, just sending the password in plain text, yeah, that's a total non-starter. That's the digital equivalent of shouting your bank PIN across a stadium. So the folks who designed Wi-Fi, they had to get way more clever. They needed some kind of digital secret handshake. And for more than a decade, that secret handshake was this really brilliant process called the WPA2 four-way handshake. I mean, this is the protocol that's been the security backbone for pretty much all of our wireless connections for years. See, the goal here isn't to just toss the password back and forth. No way. The real goal is for both your device and the router to use the password that they already know to kind of independently create a brand new, totally temporary key. And that key is what's going to encrypt all your data just for that one session. Okay, so think of it like a four-step dance. First, the router sends your device a random number, called an anons. Then, your device takes that number, combines it with the Wi-Fi password you typed in, and then adds its own random number, the S-nonce, to cook up this special temporary key. Then it sends its random number back to the router. And here is the magic part. The router now has all the same ingredients, so it generates the exact same key. The final steps are just them confirming, hey, you got the same key I got? Yep, and then they open up the secure connection. Pretty cool, right? So the most important thing to get here is this. The password itself never leaves your device. It never leaves the router. It's just used as the shared secret ingredient, right? It's the thing that lets both sides create the exact same recipe for a new temporary encryption key. It's an absolutely brilliant way to prove you know the secret without ever having to say it out loud. But you knew there was a but coming, right? Like with any security that's been around for a long time, eventually, smart people find weaknesses. And the four-way handshake, for all its genius, well, it wasn't perfect. And yeah, this quote from Geeks for Geeks really nails it. WPA2 was fantastic for its time, but attacks like the one we're about to talk about, the crack exploit, they just revealed some critical flaws. It was pretty clear it was time for an upgrade. So this crack attack was really nasty. And what made it so sneaky was that it didn't even try to guess your password. Instead, it attacked the handshake process itself. It could basically trick a device into reusing an old, already used encryption key. And if that happens, boom, your security for that session is gone, and an attacker on the same network could potentially spy on all your traffic. So that vulnerability, along with a few others, really lit a fire under everyone to develop the next generation of Wi-Fi security. And that is WPA3. And with it came a completely new, much more secure handshake. Okay, so here's the fundamental upgrade. With WPA2, a hacker could just listen in and capture the data from the handshake. And even though your password wasn't in there, they could take that data offline and just throw millions of password guesses at it, a dictionary attack, until they got a match. WPA3 completely scraps that process. It replaces it with something called simultaneous authentication of equals, or SAE for short. SAE, which is also known as the Dragonfly handshake, cool name, right? It's just a much smarter, more secure process. Instead of that back and forth, now both the router and your device have to prove they know the password to each other at the exact same time. And this all happens before a full network connection is even established. So it protects the entire conversation right from the very first hello. And this new handshake brings some huge advantages. First, it makes those offline dictionary attacks we talked about practically impossible. The math just doesn't work for the attackers anymore. It also adds individualized encryption, even on open networks like at a coffee shop, so the person next to you can't snoop on your traffic. And finally, it gives us something called forward secrecy, which is awesome. It means that even if a hacker somehow steals a key in the future, they can't use it to go back in time and decrypt all your old internet traffic that they might have recorded. Your past stays safe. All right, so we've gone deep into the tech weeds with handshakes and encryption keys. Let's bring it all back home. What can you actually do with this information to stay safe? So, yeah, what does all this mean for you? Why should you care about this invisible secret handshake? Well, because knowing how it works is the first step to making sure you're actually secure. Okay, here it is. This is the single most important thing you can do. Go into your router's settings, check your phone's Wi-Fi settings, look for the security options, and if you see an option for WPA3, choose it. Full stop. If you see a mixed mode like WPA2/WPA3, that's also a fantastic choice. It gives the best security to your new devices while still letting older stuff connect. It is a simple click that makes a huge difference for your security. And that kind of leaves us with one final thought to chew on. We've seen this handshake evolve from WPA2 to the much stronger WPA3, but think about it. Our homes are filling up with connected devices. It's not just phones and laptops anymore. It's speakers, light bulbs, refrigerators. The list just keeps growing. So the complexity of keeping everything safe is just exploding. Makes you wonder, what will the next secret handshake need to look like to protect that future?